All right, welcome to episode 2 of Let's Talk NFL. It's really episode 1, though, because now we actually can react and talk about what's actually happened. It was all speculation. I'm here with my guy Tyvis Powell. We're going to talk.
Hey,
We're going to talk biggest surprises from week 1. Going to go through all the games. Going to preview this week's games. And then check out Tyvis on social media. Check out the Let's Talk NFL pod page, because Tyvis, I personally thought I should be the one to do this. But Tyvis says he should be the one to break down a couple of DB clips. So we'll get to all that. Tyvis, episode 2, biggest surprises from week 1. What do you got?
man, I think the biggest surprise has to be Green Bay because with the offseason that they had, with the pushing and pulling with Aaron Rodgers and what is he gonna do? Is he gonna retire? Then you finally get him to come back. You got Devontae Adams, who was waiting to see what Aaron Rodgers was gonna do. He wasn't gonna sign no deal until he could figure out what Aaron Rodgers was gonna do. Then they decide to let's come back for one last season. They call it the last dance. They get Randall Cobb to come back. So you thinking they got the whole group back. The gang is back. And then they go out against New Orleans and play the way they play. It was mind blowing, and it truly caught me off guard because to me, I think Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks that I've got to witness personally. And to see the New Orleans just dude, I mean, they was getting after him. He was shaking up. He never seemed comfortable in the pocket. He was overthrowing passes. It's just he was unrecognizable. And that was just a huge surprise to me.
They were so surprisingly bad that it overshadowed the Saints being so surprisingly unbelievable. And Jameis being so, maybe not so surprisingly, but they were almost better than the Packers were bad, which I think is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, we forget that Jameis Winston was the first pick in the draft. So I mean, he's good. I mean, maybe we laughed at him when he said he had to get LASIK surgery. He was like he couldn't see this whole time. It really make a difference. The man, the man was out there looking really good. He looked like that first pick in the draft.
How about the teams that won in the AFC North, Bengals and Steelers, versus the teams that lost, Ravens and Browns? I mean, the Browns had to play the Chiefs, so it's a little different, but Buffalo, who everyone loves, they're the Super Bowl pick. Josh Allen, MVP, of course, loses week 1.
Yeah, that you know what the sad thing about that one is I actually watched that one closely because I got Josh Allen on my fantasy team. So I was in a conflict because I got Pittsburgh as a defense on my fantasy team. So I was kind of conflicted. But anyways, watching that game, you think you go Josh Allen is winning the game. I mean, they're it's not by a lot, but I think they're winning like 13 to like 10 or something like that. I can't remember what it was when I tune in. And then the whole like fourth quarter or the second half, like Pittsburgh just runs away with it. It was my he like Josh Allen even looked shooken up. I mean, I knew that we know that the steel curtain is always gonna be a thing. Like I always thought that the weakest part of them was their secondary, but they secondary came to play. Like they was like Josh Allen was running for his life because I mean he got TJ Watt coming after him and all, and that Cam Hayward, all those the D line is just phenomenal for Pittsburgh. But like he just never could make nothing happen. And it made me start thinking like is it because he got paid? Is he not hungry as he used to be? Because last year I feel like he would have found a way to get this done, but he was not the MVP Josh Allen that we seen last year.
No, definitely not. One last question for you before we go game by game. We'll talk about some more of these things. How long until Joe Burrow is a top 5 quarterback in the league?
Honestly, I would say probably another year. By the end of this year, he's gonna be healthy. The one thing I know about Joe is that he can sling the ball. Like he's got that confidence, he got that swagger. He's what you want in a quarterback. He is fearless. He doesn't care about who you are. He feels like he's the best, and he's ultimately gonna go out there every week and show you why he feels he's the best. And he plays big, man. Like he made some big time throws against Minnesota and ultimately helped his team win the game.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna go game by game here.
Let's do it.
Uh, Finishing up, we'll get to Monday Night Football. We'll get to Sunday Night Football, where my Super Bowl pick Rams showed why I picked them.
I did good. I was sitting there watching it like Drew owned to something. I could see it.
All right, we'll start with Cowboys Bucks. 31-29. Bucks escape. Brady, under 2 minutes left. I mean, really, if there's more than 1 second on the clock, he's got a chance. What'd you think of that game?
Typical Tom Brady. The one thing I was interesting was that Dallas knew that Tampa Bay was not going to let them run the ball. Like Tampa Bay last year was the best in the NFL at stopping the run. And Todd Bowles does a great job of sending those linebackers. They're all fast. They're all smart players. They got a great pass rush. And, with Dak coming back from the ankle injury, and we didn't know what his mobility would be like. So Dallas was smart to make Zeke. They took Zeke out the game completely. They made him become basically another offensive lineman, where he did a great job picking up all the blitzes, which I know firsthand because that's what I don't think Zeke ever missed a block in college. Like he was like 100% on getting his block. So they took the ball out of his hand and put it all in Dak's hand. And Dak really impressed me. He, like last year, we knew what he was doing at the beginning of the season. His first 5 games, he was phenomenal. He was throwing for 400, 500 yards a game. And he really seemed like he picked up where he left off. The injury didn't have an impact on him. He was making some unbelievable throws. Dallas, my biggest thing with Dallas was their secondary. I didn't know if their secondary would be good enough to, compete in games, but they showed up and they showed out. They played a really good game. But ultimately what happened is you left too much time on the clock for Tom Brady, and Tom Brady went out there and did what he does. And anytime Tom gets the ball at the end, he always seems to find a way to make it work. So that's what happened.
I'm going to give you a quick two questions from each game, one for each team. This is what we're going to do as we go through these. All right. First one is for the Cowboys. True or false, Zeke will not be in the top 10 running backs for rushing yards this year?
False.
All right. Question number 2 for the Bucks. True or false, Antonio Brown will lead the Bucks in receiving yards?
False. Even though he did look like he got a relapse, didn't he? He was out there, but I think false. I think that was just, I don't think that he will be featured enough to do that. With Mike Evans and Chris Godwin being the 1-2 punch, I don't think he's just going to get a lot of balls thrown his way. But I do think the ones that he get will be effective.
All right. Eagles, Falcons game, the first game of the noon games. Jalen Hurts looks incredible.
He does.
Falcons look like they picked up where they left off last year. They look like they want a pick to replace Matt Ryan. They don't want to pay someone. What did you think of that game?
That game, I think I actually picked the Eagles to win that game. Jalen Hurts is a stud. I mean, he's one of those guys who, he cut from a certain type of cloth. Like he got that toughness in him. He seems like he prepares his butt off, and he goes out there and he leaves it all on the field. And I respect that, and I like that in a quarterback. That's a guy that, your team would play for. He's one of those guys. And I think that, I didn't know what to think of the Heisman Trophy winner. And I was like, everybody kept saying Waddle was the better receiver. But he went out there and he did really well in his first game. I mean, he caught a touchdown, had 6 catches for 71 yards. As far as the Falcons go, I mean, they looking for an identity. I don't like Matty Ice isn't Matty Ice anymore. It's like you could tell that his best days seem to be behind him. They are definitely they're gonna look into replacing him probably next year, and he's looking like that's what it is. I mean, they went out and signed Mike Davis. I don't even think he was the leading rusher. And I love Mike. Mike is like one of my close friends, and he seemed like he wasn't utilized. Kyle Pitts dropped balls or he didn't catch them. I only know that because he's on my fantasy team, and the defense just doesn't look like they are. It's not like a lot of superstars on the defense, so something needs to happen.
All right, here's my questions for you from this game. Matt Ryan will be fully healthy but not start every game. True or false?
False. He gonna finish the season as a starter.
All right. True or false? Eagles win the division.
False. I like the way Dallas is playing right now, but I do believe they're going to be in it though.
Yeah, with Fitzpatrick going out, I think they probably become the second favorite.
Yeah, because the Giants not at all.
No.
Yeah, definitely.
Giants, but we'll get to this, but I think the Giants might be the worst team in the league.
Wow, you going there? You going there?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the Lions put up 33 on the 49ers.
No, they did.
You think the Giants would do that?
So you saying over the Jaguars?
Urban will whip them into shape. Best part about 0-1.
You sick in the head. You're sick.
All right, Steelers, Bills. We talked about it a little bit with Josh Allen, and you mentioned the steel curtain, so I'm going to hit you with this. The Steelers will win the AFC North. True or false?
No.
Browns. The Browns.
Yeah, no. I think no, I don't, because the problem is I don't really believe in their offensive line that much. I think they did enough. The defense showed up this game. That's what ultimately helped them, and then the fact that they got a punt blocked against Buffalo. I mean, I think the chances of winning the game is like 75 or 90% if you block a punt. So that ultimately is what led to this. I still don't believe in their offensive line.
All right. Who will finish the season with a higher seed in the AFC, the Bills or the Browns?
After last week's game, I would say probably the Browns.
All right. No bias.
No, not even being biased. I think the Browns played Kansas City and they should have won that game if the punter didn't drop the punt and he actually got the punt off. I think we see a different game, but it was the Browns. It was very Browns-like for that to happen.
Yeah. All right. Vikings, Bengals. The Vikings are just always a disappointment. Not to say that they couldn't, win 8 games in a row after this, but just people are low on the Bengals and then they win their first game. Just can't be great for Vikings morale. What did you think of this game? Overtime game. We actually had a finish. I thought maybe, that game and the Raiders game were going to be ties. What did you think of Vikings Bengals?
Honestly, the Bengals seem like they are on their way. I had a friend who played there a couple of years ago, and he said that the culture wasn't there. He didn't really think that they was a good team. He didn't like it there, and I even had another friend who expressed to me that he didn't feel like he was getting coached correctly. He didn't feel like he was getting the best. He wasn't becoming better as he was a player being there, but obviously they were doing something correctly. I mean, with them getting Joe Burrow, that changed a lot because I think Joe brought a different mindset. Joe is a winner. Like, he's going to find a way to win. And I think a lot of people are starting to get that same sense of urgency with Joe being their quarterback. As far my biggest concern for them has always been their offensive line and their defense. And their defense has gotten way better. And their offensive line even got better. I mean, they were protecting Joe. Joe was able to go 20 for 27, throw 261 yards, and have 2 touchdowns. So, with that type of efficiency, I mean, that's really good. Joe Mixon he got 29 carries for 127 yards and 1 touchdown. He did better than Dalvin Cook. So I think that the Cincinnati is a team to watch for. They're going to do better than a lot of people expect them to do. And I feel like in the next year or two, when they really address their offensive line and maybe they don't really need no D line no more. They got Sam and they got Henderson, I think his name is Hitterick, something like that. They got those two, and those two are doing well. So I think once they address their corners, then they'll be on their way.
So you're in the Super Bowl. You can pick one of these 2 quarterbacks. The game is tomorrow. Joe Burrow or Kirk Cousins. The game's tomorrow.
Probably Joe. I like Kirk though. Kirk showed he got that passion, energy. But see, sometimes Kirk, you just don't know. He had those games where he just go completely cold. Joe is a winner. Joe has like that Mamba mentality where he's going to try to find a way to win the game. I feel like with Joe as your quarterback, you always have a chance to win the game.
I agree with you. I do think that the Vikings are happy to see that all the teams in the NFC North lost. because they could be pretty bad and still have a chance. And the Packers could, I said this about another team earlier. The Packers could be totally fine. Obviously, they look totally fine, but the Vikings got to be pretty happy that, they lost the Bengals, but every other team lost too.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. One of them gonna run away with it.
Yep. All right, 49ers Lions, the first team of a few that we saw go two quarterbacks in the game. 41-33. I don't think the score really told the story. It kind of crept back at the end. What do you think?
It was a massacre at the beginning. I mean, obviously I had the chance to play for San Fran, and I know Kyle Shanahan is a great offensive mind. That offensive scheme that he runs, where everything is condensed and everything looks the same, and then he can hit you with the zone run, he can hit you with the play action, and the tight ends get involved. It can be difficult to cover, and that's honestly what it was showed. I mean, Deebo Samuel, we forgot about him. I think he got hurt last year, maybe. So we kind of forgot about him. And he came
I benched him.
He came. You did?
Yeah.
Oh, your fantasy?
Yeah. I thought Odell was gonna play.
You sick. Yeah. You sick. Anyways, he came back with a vengeance. Deebo Samuel is one of those guys who got that attitude. He got that dog mentality to him where, I don't know how great of a receiver he is, but once he gets that ball in his hand, he's very hard to bring down, and he's very explosive with the ball. I thought Jimmy Garoppolo played really well, with all the pressure that he's been dealing with. You bring in Trey Lance, the number 3 pick in the draft. Trey Lance comes in, and he comes in early and throws a touchdown, I think, on his first or second pass or something like that. So
1 for 1 with a touchdown.
Yeah. So, with that pressure, you got to, it's hard to, as a professional, to know that the guy behind you, the guy that they want to come be the quarterback, but yet you still go out there and you perform it. You still got your team behind you. That it speaks a lot about him. But I definitely think San Fran is the team to watch this year if they can stay healthy. It's for some odd reason this week was terrible with injuries of corners. I think they lost Verrett with I want to say it's an ACL injury actually, and I think he's out for the season. So
Mostert's out for the year.
And Mostert got hurt with a knee cartilage, and he's out. He's getting surgery, so he's out for the year. So the injury bug has been an issue for San Fran for when I was there, and it still goes on. The best year they had was when nobody got hurt and they went to the Super Bowl. So hopefully this is the end of those injuries.
So no injuries. Does Trey Lance start a game this year?
That's interesting. No, I don't think he does. I don't think he's going to start a game.
I agree.
Jimmy's not doing anything to lose. If Jimmy does something bad, then we'll talk about that later. But right now, the way Jimmy's playing, he don't have a reason to.
All right, moving on to Cardinals Titans, 38-13. Not as big of a blowout as Packers Saints, but not one that people expected. Were you surprised by this game?
I was. I really was. We talk about the off season where they added Julio Jones to the mix, and you was thinking, we get AJ Brown, Julio Jones, and Derrick Henry. Like, Derrick Henry he's led the league in rushing for like the past 2-3 years, or he's at least top 3. And for him to go out in this game and only get 17 carries for 58 yards, that speaks volume. But the difference in this game was Chandler Jones. I mean, he had 5 sacks in 3 quarters. I mean, he was unbelievable. It was really like there was nothing that they could do. I felt bad. Taylor Lewan even got on Twitter and even said, he even told him personally, like, you was that good and I couldn't do nothing with you, but you know what? It's going to make me a better player, which is great sportsmanship from him. But yeah, this one, Chandler Jones definitely was the X factor in this game. And Kyler Murray is just unreal. I mean, I watched that. It was sometimes where he was sacked and he just maneuvered his way up out of it, scrambled around, made the defense look silly and threw the ball down the field, and it was a completion. So when you got stuff going on like that, there's nothing you could do.
All right, true or false? Kyler Murray is better than both Dak and Jalen Hurts.
That Dak one, that's I don't know. Kyler Murray is a more athlete than Dak. I would say that. But a better leader and better quarterback, like pure quarterback, I would probably take Dak.
All right, true or false? Derrick Henry leads the league in rushing this year.
I don't know. I don't think he does. I don't think he does. I think people figuring it out. Cause I don't really believe in the Cardinals linebackers. Like I know they had a couple of first round picks, but like they're fairly young, and for them to do him like this early in the season, like that, it's shocking. So and they might got the recipe for him. So I don't think he will.
All right, moving on to the battle of your teams. Seahawks, Colts.
Mm.
Russell Wilson, early season, we knew he was going to play well. A lot of people were surprised by what the Colts defense looked like, and I guess the offense too. What'd you think?
Well, I thought, honestly, I knew Russell Wilson was going to light it up. Russell Wilson does very well in the beginning of the season. I don't know what it's about, but for some odd reason, it's like he plays with this big chip on his shoulder at the beginning of the season. And he went out there and he lit it up. Tyler Lockett is on my fantasy team. I started him and I was a happy man. He went out there and he looked like the Tyler Lockett that I seen in practice. Fast, gets behind the defenses and makes big plays. He's not big at all. He's a small guy, but he's very fast and he's very effective. He runs great routes, and that's exactly what he did. And they really it was shocking because the Colts play great defense. Like to see Tyler Lockett get behind the defense and Russell Wilson throwing some dimes. I mean, he put them balls on the money, and for them to make the plays they made, it was shocking. But it was Carson Wentz was out there and he looked okay. It wasn't quite the MVP Carson Wentz from the Eagles, but it was he had a decent game, 25 for 38, 251 yards with 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's a pretty respectable game.
Jonathan Taylor, I got him on my fantasy team.
Yes.
They had the ball in like the half-yard line, and then they got a 10-yard penalty. I was not happy about that, to say the least. Looking for him to do a little more.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to do a little more. So I'm trying to think of a true or false or a yes or no from this game. I guess true or false, Seahawks win the West.
No, your Rams might do that.
My Rams. All right, true or false, the Colts right now are better than the Titans. That they would now be your pick based on what we saw from the Titans.
Yeah, they would be.
All right. Well, they play twice, so we'll find out.
We will see. I tell you what, the Titans with Vrabel as a head coach, they're going to respond.
Yeah. Chargers versus the Washington football team. Before we get into this, Terry McLaurin's catch was maybe the best catch ever.
Yeah, that was
like he was like turned this way. And how do receivers know that the ball is going to be there?
Well, I mean, the ball is taught to be, as a receiver, the quarterback is taught to throw it on your outside shoulder. So
he just went. I've never seen anyone spin like that. He almost did like.
I didn't know he caught it. For one, that safety should have picked the ball up. I don't know. I guess he was scared that he was gonna run into him or something. I don't know what he was doing, but it should have been a clean interception.
So the Chargers scored in the fourth to go up 20-16. Then a long drive to seal the game at the end. Were you? I mean, this is a team this is a game where both people thought both teams should be second or first in their division when the season ends. Is your mind changed at all after this game?
For Washington, yes, because they lost Fitzpatrick. I mean, I like Taylor Hicatini or what? Heineke. Excuse me.
Hicatini.
I know, right? I know. Anyways, I like him. The way when he came in the playoffs last year, I thought he did really well. He was a guy that went out there and he sold out for his team. Like he was putting his body on the line. He did everything he could to try to win that game. So I respect him as a quarterback. I mean, he came in the game, he went 11 for 15, 122 yards with 1 touchdown. That's not bad at all. That's actually pretty decent. But I don't know in the long run. Like I think he's effective now because people don't game plan for him. Like people don't come in and say, like when the Chargers was game planning for Washington, they was game planning for Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick is not a mobile quarterback. Fitzpatrick is getting old. he will try everything. This guy right here, he's more mobile. He's more take risks type guy. So I think once the team's game plan for him, he might struggle a little bit, and that's why I ultimately don't think that they will be my second pick in the AFC. What are they? South? NFC? No, NFC. What are they?
Aren't they the NFC East?
Yes, NFC East.
Yeah.
Every time I think of East, I always think of the Patriots for some reason, even though they're in the AFC.
Do you think the Chargers, not beat them in the division, but in a one-off in a game, can the Chargers take on the Chiefs?
No, I listen. I told you this. I told you who my second team. You said your runner-up is the Chargers. My runner-up is still the Denver Broncos. Did you see them play?
Oh yeah.
I know a little something about something now.
You do know a little something about something. All right, I'm only going to ask you one true or false here. True or false? Ryan Fitzpatrick has played his last NFL game.
False.
I agree. He might play forever.
Yeah, he definitely gonna come back and try it.
All right, Jets, Panthers. Your boy Darnold actually looked pretty good. 279 and a touchdown. Zach Wilson didn't look half bad either.
That's because you know why Darnold looked good? Because he listened to this podcast and he heard how you was talking about him.
Did you see the mixed reality Carolina Panther thing jumping around?
No.
I'll send it to you because it's wild.
What? What happened now?
I'll send it to you. They did like a virtual reality, like Panther. I'll send it to you. But
it sounds pretty cool, actually.
Who do you think looked better, Zach Wilson or Sam Darnold?
Oh, Sam Darnold by far. I mean, Zach Wilson, it took him a while. I think he had the jitters. I think it was, that NFL regular season first game jitters. It took him a long time to get rolling. But once he did, his line isn't the best either. I will give him that. His line is very shaky. But he wiggled around and he was able to make some throws and ended up throwing 2 touchdowns. But Sam Darnold, I think he had in his mind that he wanted some revenge. Him and Robbie Anderson was on some other stuff. They was like, listen, they didn't cut us and they didn't traded us and blah, blah, blah. We're going to show them what they missing out on. And him and Robbie ended up actually connecting on a touchdown, which was pretty cool to see. So I think I'm not saying that they're going to do great things by any means, but Sam Darnold did better than we anticipated that he would.
I think the Panthers looked like, the second best team behind the Saints. The Saints that all of a sudden, I think that division gets a little competitive with the Saints.
Oh, okay. You talking about in the division. I thought you were saying the second best team over. I was going to look at you like, boy, you ain't what you drinking in that water.
So we think the Bucks are number one. I don't think the Panthers can beat the Bucks, but I think the Panthers could beat, Darnold's clicking, McCaffrey's running. I think
they gonna beat who?
They could beat the Saints in a game.
Come on now, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't listen.
2-0 against the Panthers.
Listen, Jameis Winston got LASIK surgery. Okay, he's fine. It's over with. It's over. That he figured out what his problem. He couldn't see. He threw 30 interceptions because he couldn't see. He thought he was looking at his own guy, but it was somebody else. He got the problem addressed.
All right, we'll see. I bet my money would be on that they split the series.
They not. They go 2-0. See, New Orleans. The only team New Orleans gonna lose to in the division is the Buccaneers.
Yeah, definitely not the Falcons.
You never know, man. Them division games, it's a different type. It's a different mindset.
All right, Jaguars, Texans. I think we both say the Jaguars are going to win this game?
I don't recall. I feel like I did.
I think we both did.
I feel like I did. You know what though? It's gonna take a while because,
Urban's gonna be at USC and he's gonna be at like 5 schools by the end of this year, according to Twitter.
Listen, all right, put it to you this way. After watching it, Trevor Lawrence went 28 for 51 for 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 picks. In a debut game, 3 touchdowns and 3 picks. It's the 3 picks that's the hard part for me. Like, wow. But, some of the throws that he made showed that he does have like a great arm. He got great accuracy. But it's like I don't know. Like I don't know what he seemed rattled. Sometimes he was rattled. But like I told you, his offensive line wasn't good. And I kept telling you, until they get their offensive line addressed, they're not going to be very successful. Now, I will say that the Texans surprised me by how well they did play, because I remember when I was on Drive the Lane with you and Joey, and y'all was talking about Tyrod Taylor. And I told y'all he is really not that bad of a player. Y'all know, y'all just like, he just don't get the credit that he deserves. Like, he's actually a pretty decent quarterback. And he came out and he did very, very well. He went 21 for 33, 291 yards with 2 touchdowns. And he led that team. He did he extended plays and made some big time throws. I was actually impressed with him.
I agree with you. How about Mark Ingram and Carlos Hyde being the 2 lead backs? The old men still getting it going. Of course, Urban's gonna ride Hyde.
He has to. I mean, I think before Travis Etienne got hurt, I think he would have probably been featured more in the run game. I think they was kind of trying to hide that, but I mean, he's a running back at heart, so they had to. James Robinson, I know James Robinson had a great year last year, but I've never really been that high on him. And I don't think Urban's that high on him. He's one of the guys that I can see probably being traded by the end of the year.
Yeah. All right. True or false? The Texans win over 5 games.
Out of 17. Yeah. If the way they played, I mean, I know it was against Jacksonville, but yeah, I can see it because they're gonna beat Jacksonville twice.
All right, true or false? Trevor Lawrence wins Rookie of the Year.
No. False. No.
All right.
False.
All right, Browns, Chiefs. You talked about the punt a little earlier. I was there. I was frustrated. I was talking shit, and then I had to stop talking shit. Definitely a frustrating game, but a fun game. I'll say this. The Browns D looks improved. The Browns offense looks improved. Stefanski is a genius. I think these 2 teams meet again in January. What do you think?
Oh, they're definitely gonna see each other again in the playoffs for sure. It was one of those games. This game gave me the Buccaneers and Dallas vibes, where it came out and it was kind of shocking how well the Browns were doing. It's like the Browns took it straight to them. Like we're gonna show y'all that we top dogs. They had that dog mentality. They didn't back down from nothing. Stefanski was very, very aggressive on the play calling. And I liked it. I digged it. It was like they hit Kansas City right in the mouth. Boom. Mm-hmm. And Patrick Mahomes of Kansas City just weathered the storm, and things started going their way in the second half. And it was one of those things that kind of slipped away. Once that punter didn't, well, it actually started when Tyreek Hill caught that deep bomb and John Johnson lost the ball in coverage and Tyreek Hill ended up scoring. That was the beginning of it. But then, the Browns had a chance to come back because they got the ball back and they were still winning by 2 points. And they had a chance to do something, but they ended up, I think they might have went 3 and out if I remember correctly. And then that's when, of course, the most Browns thing happened where the punter loses the ball. He drops the punt. And at first I had looked away and I'm thinking, I know he did not just call a fake punt in this town. Like, why would you do that? Then I see that he dropped the ball. And my only question was, why didn't he pick the ball up and still try to kick it? Like, anything would have been better than you getting tackled right where you got tackled. So that was terrible. And ultimately, that's what led to the fact that they lost. But it was one of those things that leaving that game, you got so much more respect for the Browns. It's like they are great. They're going to be a good team for sure. Like, they have everything it takes. The offseason hype was real. They just did not finish, unfortunately, which is what they need to focus on for the rest of the season, is finishing games. Like, it's cool to come out with all this energy, but you have to withstand that energy for 4 quarters and finish the game. And that's what they didn't do.
I agree with you. All right, true or false? Not true or false. Who's got a better chance to go undefeated, Chiefs or Bucks? Without looking at the schedule, just pretend they had identical.
Tampa Bay.
Okay.
See the Chiefs offensive line is the one. They got 3 rookies on there, and it's like a bunch of them never even played with each other. So that scares me with them. Any team that don't got a good offensive line truly scares me.
Okay. What about for the Browns? Can Kareem Hunt and Chubb combine for over 2,200 yards?
No, nope, because I think the reason being because I think this is the Browns realize that this is a season for Baker Mayfield to get paid, and they have to justify him getting paid. So they have to ultimately put the ball more in his hands than in Chubb's and Kareem Hunt's hands. So I think with that being said, they're going to miss out on carries because they're trying to get Baker paid.
I think that's I haven't heard that theory, but I think that's a good theory. And this is what I think. I think the Brown and this, I'm not saying they shouldn't pay him, but I think they should take a hard look at what happened with Goff and the Lions, where he took him to a Super Bowl, and then 2 years later they traded him. 3 years later they traded him. So I think they should pay Baker. I hope Baker's the quarterback moving forward. I just think they should, see if there's a staffer out there, stuff like that. Not like it'd be better to have the fans unhappy, but then they see the new quarterback and they're happy versus, having to almost start over.
Let me ask you this. Say Deshaun Watson get acquitted of his charges. Would you take him over Baker Mayfield?
Man, Deshaun and Odell and Jarvis and Hunt.
Or would you keep Baker?
I would need to see him play on the Texans and show that he's like in it still.
Okay, because I mean it would ultimately be kind of like a Matt Stafford. Deshaun Watson's been doing well for years, and
he's younger, and I think
really.
I think What about you? What about you? Would you take it?
It don't make me no difference. I like both of them, so it don't make me no difference. The only thing with Baker is that you can't, with the game on the line like it was. They ultimately got the ball at the end, and they had a chance to drive down the field, and he played perfect, like all game, and then he throws the interception. It sucks. It sucks. It's like wow. So now it's like. But the thing is, I've seen Baker do it before. Like last year, they played Cincinnati. They was down, and he goes down to make all type of big time throws. But when you go in it, but then see that's Cincinnati though. Like now you going against a team that goes to the Super Bowl every year, so now you're measured differently. Like these is the games that matter the most, and it was like he didn't come up. He came up short.
But at least the interception was like he got hit as he was throwing it, and he didn't like try to fit it into like a tight pocket while.
So you're saying it was justifiable?
I don't think he should have thrown it. I think he should have thrown it away. But I think the fact that it was not a perfect pass to the player is justifiable because he was getting hit, if that makes sense. Decision, not justifiable. Result of the throw was justifiable.
Okay, I got you.
I know that sounds kind of dumb, but I know you get what I'm saying.
No, I get it.
All right. Dolphins, Patriots, the Bama quarterback battle. I'm getting a little tired going through all these.
This one shocked me. I actually thought the Patriots was going to win the game.
Me too.
The Dolphins came out with a lot of energy, and I want to say that they actually was up like early in the game. Like they kind of controlled. Well, it was tied in the second quarter, but they ended up going up in the third, and that kind of put the pressure on them. But both quarterbacks I thought played well. I mean, Tua threw a pick, but he threw 16 for 27, 202 with 1 touchdown and an interception. Mac Jones threw the ball more than I thought that he would. He threw the ball 39 times, 29 for 39, 281 yards with 1 touchdown, which is a solid debut. But ultimately, I knew that the Patriots was going to lean on the running game, and Harris had 23 carries for 100 yards. Nelson Aguilar, like I told you, he's hot one season and he cold the next. He seems to be like this will be a good season for him. But I think that the the Dolphins just got more weapons on offense than the Patriots do. And I mean, it's evident. They got Waddle, they got Parker, they got Gaskins. It's too much sometimes. And I think that's what made the big difference.
All right, I got two who will be better questions for you. Waddle or Devontae Smith?
Oh, that's a great one. That's a good one. I think Devontae Smith.
And do you think it's because of their quarterback, which brings me to the next question, or Jalen Hurts? Who you taking to start your team?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
It is because of the quarterback. Actually, like I said, I think Jalen Hurts just got that he got the it factor. He got that. I want people gonna want to make plays for him. People gonna want to play. Like he's one of those ones that he's gonna keep fighting until the clocks hit 000. I mean, Tua does too, but Jalen Hurts got it ever since he got pulled out that national championship game. He's been playing with like a pain. Like you could tell he got an edge to him right now. And I think he's gonna carry that. Him getting pulled out the national championship game might have been the best thing that happened for his career because now he plays angry.
All right, we talked Packers Saints, so we'll jump that. Broncos Giants.
I tried to tell you, didn't I?
I think if you only listen to our podcast, you would think this was the best team in the NFL against the worst team in the NFL. You love the Broncos, and we think the Giants stink. I mean, I don't think there's much to discuss here. You've kind of laid it out with the Broncos and the Giants, but if you could say your biggest takeaway from this game for the Broncos, I think it would be, I think Melvin Gordon looked a lot better than people thought.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon had a hell of a game. He had 11 carries for 101 yards with one touchdown. He had one big long run where he just completely outran all of the Giants defense.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they lost Judy. I think he got diagnosed with a high ankle sprain, so he'll be gone for a couple of weeks. But they got weapons, man. They still got Cortland Sutton. He didn't have a big game, but I've been with him personally, and I know him, and he's the real deal. Remember that I said that he's the real deal. KJ Hamler, he's a speedy guy. They got Noah Fant, the tight end, and Tim Patrick, all of. So they still got three wide receivers with the tight end. Tim's gonna have to step up, but Tim's a seasoned guy. He's been there for years, and he's shown that he can make plays. So I think they'll be just fine while Judy is gone. Teddy Bridgewater is kind of the big story here because he went for 264 yards with 2 touchdowns, which is what it seems like Denver's been asking for the past since Peyton Manning left is a quarterback. And it seems like, Teddy Bridgewater, like I told y'all last week, he's not a guy that's going to win the game, but he's not a guy that's going to lose the game. He's going to do what he needs to do to help his team win. And he's not going to put him in a position to lose, which is what he showed. And he had a really good game.
Saquon Barkley finishes the year on the Giants, yes or no?
On the Giants? Like,
yeah.
Heck yeah, he gonna be there. He ain't going nowhere.
He's some good trade bait.
He ain't going nowhere. Trust me.
All right, Daniel Jones starts 17 of 17. I say no way.
I say way because who's gonna replace him?
I don't know. They'll try something. You always see at the end of the season, like breaking news. You try something, try to bench Jones and think it'll make him better or something. Or maybe they're like, we can have him in and get a better pick.
Listen, they invested. If they have any reason to go away from Daniel Jones, then they will pray that he does well and try to trade him. Yeah. But I don't think everybody sees the same thing. I don't think nobody really wants him, so I think they stuck with him.
All right, Bears, Rams, Stafford, Rams. Rams are the best offense in the NFL, yes or no?
Ooh, that's a good one. Best offense.
You can tell I've asked questions before because I'm hitting you with the good ones.
Best offense? I don't know about that. Close. I think they're close. I mean, I think the best offense that I seen probably this past week was the Cardinals because D-Hop looked amazing. Even Kirk was out there making plays, and I ain't heard his name in like 2 years. But yeah, I think they might be either second or third between them, the Chiefs, the Cardinals and the 49ers, those four offenses is elite right now. I don't know if I would think they were the best, but I tell you what, Matt, I'm about to start drinking the Matt Stafford Kool-Aid because that man definitely looked amazing, and I see why everybody can see them winning the division and going to the Super Bowl. They just might.
Yep. Jump on the bandwagon. Week 2, you're allowed to jump on.
Yeah, I'm high on them. Well, it was good that we got to see some Justin Fields, though. He came in. I think he threw a touchdown actually,
He rushed for one.
Oh yeah, he rushed for a touchdown. That's what he did.
When does he start? What week? I think week 3 or 4.
That's what I always said. I think week 4 at the latest because
I think it'll just
quarter
be much for Nagy and the Bears. They're just going to be pressured.
If Andy Dalton don't, I mean, if Andy Dalton don't do something soon, like something like throw touchdowns and get like 300 yards, it's on the wall. I mean, Chicago's impatient. They're not gonna wait. They're gonna boo him. They're gonna start booing Andy Dalton, and they're gonna start doing the Justin Fields chants. And when Justin comes in, he's effective. I mean, he was 2 for 2. He did well. He looked poised. He didn't panic. So I think like it's inevitable. And the way the team talks, I mean, I think they want Justin Fields in there. So I think it's gonna happen.
All right, in the last game, Monday Night Football, Ravens Raiders, Lamar versus Derek Carr, which was a better duel than
it was. Yeah, it was. It was one of the. At the beginning of the game, I was like, man, Derek Carr is throwing like he's overthrowing a lot of passes, and I'm like, yeah, at coming off the Ohio State game, I'm like, man, what is this? What's going on? Why is everybody overthrowing these passes? What's up with these quarterbacks? But then, he got poised and he started getting hot towards the end of the game, and he made some plays down the stretch that it was like, man, like you all right, man. You all right quarterback. I think he's like the leader in passing yards. I think he threw 435 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Darren Waller might lead the whole league in targets because he threw it to him like 700 times.
Yeah, when you got a guy, he's such a mismatch. You know what the funny thing about Darren Waller is? My last year in Denver in 2019, I watched him. I was on practice squad in Denver and I finished the year. And I think we played them last game of the season. And he caught this ball and he got down the field so fast. I came home after that game and I talked to my wife and I said, Lauren, listen, it's this dude that played tight end for the Raiders. This dude it's gonna be Kelsey, Gronk, and him. I'm telling you, this dude is gonna be that thing. I'm telling you. Actually, it wasn't Gronk because I think Gronk was tight. It was Kittle. It was Kelsey, Kittle, and Waller. I said, them 3 tight ends right there go be the top 3. And this dude really is doing exactly what I said he was gonna do. He's such a mismatch. He's so big. He's fast. Like when I seen him in person, the dude like 6'6", 6'7", and he like run like a 4.4 legit though. Like so he's fast and he got great hands. I think Lamar had a pretty decent game. I mean, outside of the 2 fumbles that he lost, which I think kind of cost him at the end, but he was on some Kyler Murray stuff. Like his pocket presence was crazy. Like he seen them sacks coming and he was weaving around, running around, scrambling, and he can either beat you with his legs, which it seems like, I mean, I didn't know Kyler Murray can do the same thing, but Lamar is more willing to do it. And he was making some incredible plays. That game was a shootout. I didn't think it was gonna come down when they threw the pick in overtime. I thought the game was over, and somehow they ended up winning.
So hopefully next week we have a guest because this will get pretty old if we just go game by game every single week. But we are going to do this real quick. We're going to go and we're going to pick our winners. We're not going to say why. We're not going to say how because we kind of just did that. But we're going to go game by game for week 2. A quick rapid fire. Thursday night, Giants, Washington. I think we both think Washington wins.
Washington easily.
Bengals, Bears.
I might go with the Bengals, man.
I think if Andy Dalton starts, Bengals. Texans, Browns. Not even close.
Yeah.
Rams, Colts.
Rams.
Ooh, Bills at Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Whoa, do you think the Bills start 0-2?
Yep. It's gonna be the greatest motivating factor for them.
Patriots, Jets.
Patriots.
Yep, I'm with you. By the way, I think the Bills win.
I'm sure you do.
49ers, Eagles, your favorite current team against your old team.
49ers.
I'm with you. Raiders, Steelers.
That's a good one, actually. That's a great one. Steelers. I like defense. Defense always wins.
All right, so I can text you and say I was right. Raiders. Oh, perfect. Saints, Panthers. We were just talking about it.
You know who I'm picking.
I guess I got to take the Panthers for that one, too.
You go for it. It's in Carolina, isn't it?
Yep.
Good luck.
Broncos, Jaguars.
Next, you know who. Broncos.
Urban's first home game.
Broncos.
Urban doesn't lose in the shoe.
Broncos.
Vikings, Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Falcons, Bucks.
Bucks.
Ooh, there will be
Dallas.
points in this one. Cowboys, Chargers.
Dallas.
Titans, Seahawks.
Titans.
Really?
Yep.
Chiefs, Ravens.
Chiefs.
Lions, Packers. Monday Night Football.
That's a terrible Monday night game. Packers.
Rodgers bounces back so hard, right?
He better, or he's selling, and they need to go ahead and just trade him.
Yep. All right, Tyvis, anything else you want to squeeze in before we wrap up this episode?
I honestly going around the league, I don't know what's going on, but I've seen a lot of terrible offensive line plays where quarterbacks seem to be running for their life. So that's something that needs to be addressed league-wise. Last thing I want to say is for any DBs that's out there that's listening, free agents, if you're a corner, make sure you're drilling, make sure you're in shape, because something's going on where I don't know, but we're not as healthy as we thought we would be this year. So make sure that you're prepared to get a phone call. So make sure you're in shape, and when these teams reach out to you for a workout, make sure you go out there and kill it.
All right, well, there you go. Follow us at Let's Talk NFL Pod. Follow Tyvis at one Tyvis, because there's only one of them and no one else like him. Follow me at Andrew Zoldan, and we will see you all next week.